Good morning everyone, welcome to my channel. Okay, we have our next prompt, drum roll, pot plants. Pot plants. So I decided that this piece I would work on the feature through here, which I did think about last episode, and I've sort of felt like it could be a birdhouse. So right at the end of that video last week, I was considering putting this in there. I think it'll work beautifully with my piece, and we've got pot plants covered, so I think this week this piece will just have some enhancements added to it. I don't think there was anything else in here I should consider. A sprinkler system. No, I sort of need that long design. One of these girls would work holding a pot plant, but I've got my crinoline lady at the bottom of this piece, that little girl there, so it sort of doesn't really fit. But one of these girls holding a pot plant could work in another piece. Oh, not really. It would work in French garden, but I've already got the garden shed done with a lady in the shed. But if you are looking for an idea for your piece, you could certainly have a visitor to the garden holding a pot plant, especially if you popped a hat on them and made them look like they're coming to visit your garden. So just an idea. What else have we got? Seeds. This book so fits our design, doesn't it? Our theme. Or a bird watering. That'd be good to work into this one as well. A little bird bath. I love that too. I'm hoping one of the prompts coming up is going to be an orchard. So we would do a tree with some apples on it and things like that. I just don't know if that one will be a prompt, and that would be a good image to slide in somewhere. Don't know where. I think that's probably about it. Oh, how gorgeous. All right, let's have a look at this birdhouse. There's nothing else that really catches my eye there. But this piece, I think, will fit really well in this space. I just need to decrease it in size. So I might just grab a ruler, if I can find one. You'd think I'd prepare a little better. Oh, here it is. It was there. Okay, let's have a look at this little guy. Well, we have a bird on the roof. I don't think I'm going to have the space for him. I think these two will be enough. So I might just start with the roof of my little house. Maybe bring it in up here. It's going to be, ideally love to just trace the piece. You know, that would be the way to go. But due to the thicknesses, there are products out there I could use to give me, you know, what I need in the way of tracing abilities. But they're simple designs, so I'm pretty sure I can, you know, come up with a bit of a scribble and a scratch to get ourselves some form of house. Okay. A roof. I wonder if the width, the ruler, bring that down a little. Okay. Oh, that's not quite right. Do I thicken it up or do I thin it up? might thicken it up. I can always move those walls if when I stitch it just doesn't look quite right. I'll bring that swish through here of the base. And then she's got a bit of a plate for the birdhouse to sit on. That looks half decent. We need a hole for the bird. And she's got a second little hole. I don't know what that is for. Circulation. Air conditioning. Now, let's get our lines down. We'll try and pick a bit of a centre point. And then it's a bit thick. That's probably a bit better. All right, so there's this little stand here. Nice, simple little design. I'm not sure when this book was printed. So Annie Downs is an Australian lady. I'm wondering if she's still printing. She's got a website here, www.hatchedandpatched.com.au. I'll have to check her out to see if there's any more books in her range, because this one was printed, have to be a little while ago, 2005. Goodness, where has the time gone? I've never actually made the piece in there. I've just grabbed the book because it's sort of my style and I like this whimsical sort of work. Now I'm going to have a go at drawing this little birdie. So he's got a very curved body, a little triangular beak. See, if you break your design down into shapes, you'd be surprised what you can pull off. Mind you, it's a lot easier when you've got something like this. If you're looking at nature, breaking it down into shapes can be a lot trickier. Sort of feel like that tail's a little bit overpowering and big. Something went wrong there. I think it needs to be longer and more narrow. Don't know, something went very wrong there. I'll have to work on that when I get to that tail, get the iron out and these little legs. Okay, now this little guy, he's got that classic bird shape. There we go. Wow. Yeah, that's better. So we've got our little bird. Now we've got this little vine. What I'll do is I'll work it similar in structure to what the design is. Take it up there a little bit. As for what flowers we do on it, I don't know. I have to have a think. Might have a little look through some books and see what inspiration's out there. It's looking half like a plant. Yeah, that shall work. It'd be perfect for buttons or something, you know, along those lines. But we haven't had any buttons on the piece so far, so it would be sort of taking us in a different direction. There we go. How's that look? Pretty good? That'll do. That will do. I can just make out the lines that are printed on this little doily underneath all those stitches. Probably needed to use maybe, how many strands? Looks like they've used 2 strands on that embroidery, which makes it look fine, but it probably needed 3 because the print was of a decent size. Alrighty. Anyway, we're not here to critique others' work. We're here to stitch in a birdhouse. Now I need a decent needle. I tidied up my little, you wouldn't think it, I tidied up my little box of tricks here, so I'm hoping there's a needle there with a better eye. Yeah, here we go. This is the one we want. No, we don't, because that's too thick. Something with a decent eye, but a little bit narrow and sharp, like a milliner's needle. I've been working on the scrappy hair. You guys would have started watching the videos as of yesterday. But the first, I think, 5 videos I recorded pre-Christmas last year. And then the scrappy hair went into a box because Christmas hit. You know how it goes. What am I going to do? The birdhouse actually in. See, your go-to colour would be a brown, wouldn't it? I don't know. I just don't know. If I want to get too brown, does that make sense? Could do it in a blue. Because there is these random colours everywhere on this. Oh, the blue would be pretty with those flowers. Yeah, I'm going to stay in the theme of the doily, I'm thinking. Yeah, I think so. It's a bit random. You could have a blue birdhouse, I think. Where's my scissors? Now I'll use 3 strands. I don't think I'll couch it. I think I'll just straight stitch it in. There's not a lot of that style of work on this piece. Three, yep. Yeah, so I've been busily working on Scrappy Hair and I'm still not finished him. The videos are every week. I think on a Friday is when they're going to drop in. And I thought I'd pretty much said goodbye in the last video and you just would see one more video with the hair completed. But the leg, the front leg is a bit tricky. And I sort of feel like I need to make a video about what I learnt from the experience of the front leg. So I'd say the Scrappy Hair video will continue. I'm going to turn my work a little bit. I know that's probably not ideal for you guys to watch. I'll turn that pin so that it doesn't grab me. And then I can come in here. Oh, there's a pin under there. Don't you hate that? when you find a pin buried in your work, well, especially when you find it the old-fashioned way with a jab. There he is. Come on out of there. That would have been pleasant. Okay, let's get into this little guy now. So I'm going to do just a running, not a running stitch, a back stitch, I think, straight up that pole. I won't do all of it on video because that would be very boring, so I need to watch my time a little bit, but I will nut out all of the colours, which I don't know if it'll be too exciting, but anyway, let's get the post done. Now it doesn't have to be, oh, just as I say that, I was going to say it doesn't have to be dead straight, because at the end of the day it's just embroidery and it needs to be a little whimsical. But that last stitch I did was just a little bit pushing the boundaries. I think we can do better. Now I'm not sure what I'm going to do on the piece that is wave of colour. That's the one where it goes through all the different colours, because I did pots at the base of the little crocheted crinoline lady. So I sort of, once again, I've got a second piece that pots became the feature connecting to that potting shed. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that one. I did have one idea that's floating around, but I'm not sure if I'll do it. I noticed someone posted in the Facebook group that everyone sort of watches and posts the odd picture to, a tree with a swing, as if in your garden you'd have a tree down the bottom of the garden with one of those rope swings with a basic seat. And I thought, oh, that's not a bad idea for a garden element for that particular piece. And then I thought, well, if the girls do an orchard or something along those lines, like a fruit tree or something, I could do a swing underneath it. And then I was like, well, do I go ahead and, is that straight? Oh my goodness. How crooked is that? I've got lines to stick to them. Yeah, if the girls do a tree prompt, I could put a swing under it and it sort of would suit that piece. So I'm thinking if I go that stitch again, that is just going to be heading crooked again. Got to go back 2 stitches to get a straight line again, because it's often the stitch prior is the one that sent you off course. That's better. So yeah, I don't think I'll be doing any work unless I just pick it up and do some, background stitching. But I think I'd rather invest the time into my French garden, because there's just so much I can do there. And now the other thing is, as you know, if you've followed me for a while, I have a holiday coming up around the 13th. But prior to the holiday, from about the 10th, which is next Friday, so today you're watching this, it's Saturday. I'm filming it on Friday, but you know the routine. So next Friday, I've got to start taking my puppy dogs around the countryside to drop them off at puppy dog sitters. Pepper's going to Harvey Bay to hang out with my mate up there, and she has 2 doggies, Boof and Chevy. So Pep's going to go up there and visit with them while I'm on the cruise and hang out at the beach. She will love that because she's a water dog. So on the Friday next week, I need to drive Pepper up to Harvey Bay and deliver her. And of course, you got to make a meal of it, don't you? So we have to stay for a couple of days and hang out at the beach ourselves. Plus, I want to settle Pepper in. I want to make sure that she's, you know, happy and playing with those puppy dogs, and then I can sneak out the back door and she's settled. And Bruce and Bandit are going to hang out. We had a practice run for Brucey and Bandit, and they had a ball. They had an overnight stay. So Bruce's mum's offered to take Bandit. Now, normally everyone just stays at home, and I have Mary Ann's daughter come and house sit. She's been doing it since she was 16. She's now 26. So a bit extra pocket money for her, and the animals just love her. So she moves in and just stays. But Bruce and Bandit are going to have this extended stay. And I thought, well, I can't leave Pepper at home by herself. That's no good. And handing 2 dogs over to my mate is a bit much. So we thought, what will we do with Pep? Otherwise, she'll be looking for Bandit, be all sad, and then I'll be sad because I'll be sitting on a cruise boat stressing about me dogs. So everyone's going on a holiday. At least they won't be thinking too much about us. They'll be goosing around and going to beaches and parks and, you know, having a great old time. Bruce has a dog walker every day that comes because his mum works full-time. She's a vet. She works full-time and long, long hours because you can imagine when things need to be dealt with, they just need to be dealt with. So Bruce has a doggy walker come and pick him up and take him for a big walk, and they go get muggachinos or cappuccinos for puppuccinos. Bruce has a great old time. Bandit's not going to know himself. So the plan is they'll just hang out. Lynn, her dad, is just around the corner too. So on the days that the dog walker doesn't come, and I think even in the afternoons, every afternoon, Dad pops around and grabs Bruce and takes him for a walk. So Bruce is a real social butterfly, that boy. So I think Bandit will have a great time. He won't miss any of us girls. He'll be like Pepper who, Mum who. It'll be Bruce, Bruce, Bruce. And all the activities that come with young Bruce. I'm going to finish this thread off because I don't think I need to continue showing you my blue line. Let's, we can always come back to it. So I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm prepping to go away, and I've got some little road trips to do in the meantime, which means my videoing and crafting abilities will be somewhat diminished. That is the most crooked line there. Goodness sakes. It's not too bad. I guess it's thick at the bottom and gets thin at the top. Let's justify it like that. No, we're not going to do more blue. What will we do? The post. Maybe a dark. Oh, let's just finish the blue. No, we've wasted 20 odd minutes. See, that not being finished is just bugging me. That's silly. All right, let's put that into the container. So that's ready to go to the couch. Let's find a colour. Yeah, let's do this as the post the birds are sitting on. So yeah, my videos will be very sporadic from this point. While I'm got the ability to make a few in advance, I will. Don't get me wrong. If I can pack the days with a video each day, I will. But there's going to come a time where I'm going to be unable to. So I do wish you all the best as you entertain yourselves. I somehow think you'll be fine. There's so many videos out there. Pick a topic and go and have a look. There's heaps of things. YouTube is like the new TV, isn't it? I like how Christine, fellow YouTuber, was saying that her hubby was considering repairing a crack and was a little unsure of how to do it. So, you know, go to YouTube. And he found, you know, everything he needed to know about repairing it and was able to complete the task. So YouTube is just like, pick a topic and go and do some research. Will I bring the post in front of the main post or behind? I think I'm going to do it behind. The obvious would be to put it in front, but I'm going to do it behind. So I'm just going to stop the stitch there. No, I'm going to go in front. I want it to look like it is a little bird feeding perch where you would sprinkle the seed. So if you can't get if you don't see a video from me, it means I'm gallivanting. I'm whooping it up somewhere. Oh, that is crooked. I need to focus on what I'm doing. Thread this needle and away we go again. So that will work a treat. Now the actual birdhouse, what could we do? Sort of like my instinct is to go a red because I'm working the blue, but we sort of want to stay in the theme of this little cute doily. So it looks like it's sort of part of the original plan. So maybe I've got to think more pinks. Now I think I will thicken that line up, but I'm going to just leave it at that because that's like 28 minutes. So I don't want to make the post too thick. It's got a bit thick through here, so I'm just going to lay a stitch down that is pretty much on top of the other one, maybe with a slight gap. I might as well finish it. See, it's crooked. Oh, I'm crooked today, aren't I? I'm going to leave that thread because I'm wasting time on something that's quite simple. Let's have a look at this little house now. I'm thinking along the lines of pinks, to be honest. That'd be sweet. Could do a dark little roof and a pale little 3 stitches. Yep. Let's, no, I can't get myself comfortable. Let's get my thread in there. So what did I pick up? I got the dark. Okay. I'm thinking along the lines of a dark little roof and a pale I might use the dark thread for the holes. I need to get my glasses off so I can actually see where I'm stitching, and I might have less crooked stitches. Yeah, that's pretty good. Now I'm cruising. It's just that weird spot when you're wearing glasses and you're short-sighted. What am I? Short-sighted. So I need them really to drive. Otherwise I tend to hit things, which is never a good thing. Which I've never hit anything, but you know what I mean. If I didn't have glasses, it would be not good. But as one has matured, I have got diminished vision sort of at if you're reading a book. So I've got myself some what they call transitional glasses, where it transitions. So as I lift my head to look at, say, a TV in the distance, I can see. But when I do needlework, it's often a little bit closer to me than a book. So I technically probably need a third transition. But if I take my glasses off, I've got 20/20 vision at a close distance. So I'm finding now that I stitch a lot better if I just get rid of the glasses. Everything from, you know, this point out goes all fuzzy. It's a pain in the neck when you're watching TV, let me tell you, because you look up at the TV screen, you can't see anything, it's just fuzzy. But it, yeah, it's nearly a third focal point, which I'm not 100% sure they even do glasses with a third. Could you imagine the transition? It might be a little bit too tricky for the lens to have that space within it, because it's within the lens that you get that change. So I'd say I would need huge glasses. I need huge glasses to have something that would work. And the reading at the lap height, you know, is more for your mobile phone. If I was to adjust that back to needlework, I'd probably struggle to read the mobile phone. So I'm sort of in a catch-22. What's more important, being able to read a phone or needlework? Well, we won't answer that, will we? But technically it is the phone. I used to notice it when we were at work and we'd be driving between the stores with stock, and I'd be making calls, answering calls, and writing a lot of emails while we were driving. So I'd pretty much work while hubby drove the van, and I could keep, you know, doing what I do. And I was struggling to see the phone. I'm going to put a little flat top on this little house, I think, just to give it a little bit of design instead of a point. So yes, I realised very quickly that taking my glasses off and shoving my phone under my nose, something wasn't quite right, and that's when I twigged that my vision at that length needed a bit of assistance. How did I get onto this conversation? It's very boring. But I'm sure you're all out there with similar things. If you're lucky enough not to have it, lucky you. But this needlework business, it's a whole different world of vision. So, yeah, I think most of us need some enhancing. I should go and get my eyes lasered, but I'm too much of a chicken. Excuse me. I'm too much of a chicken. Hubby would love to go and do it. And I think I'd let him go and do it first and see how that all goes. So I'm coming down the side of my little house. This is just real simple embroidery. Classic doily stitching. Nothing full on, nothing layered, and you know, this is just, if you're just starting out and you want to do a decorative piece and you don't really want a doily, this is a good place to start for a beginner. Or, which a lot of you are saying in comments to me, you have beautiful collections of doilies that you've inherited or had yourself for years and they're just sitting in the cupboard. So you're pulling them out and doing a project with them, and then you can, as I said to one lovely lady, you can fall in love with them all over again. That's what I find. You pull a piece out and you start enhancing it or adding it into a new project. It's like you get to fall in love again. Yep. I might just leave that thread there. Let's have a look at this little pale thread. Is it too pale? Will it get overpowered by the little? No, I think that'll be all right. Be cute, very cute. This should be relatively simple. Just going to bring stitch in there and run it down that side. I'm a little bit cack-handed here, but I will get there. Oh, I tell you, I feel like I'm running around like a chook at the moment with their, you know what, cut off. Shocking saying that. I just feel like I've got this list of things I need to do before we go on holidays, but, you know, to be honest, none of it needs to be done. But for some reason I create these, oh, I better get that done, I better get that done. Like, it's just silly. I don't know, why do we do that? I don't even know what I'm going to take to do on the ship. I don't know, for some reason my instinct is don't take too much and have a break. But I don't know. I've got a little bit of time yet. I will be taking my filming gear, so if I happen to be able to create a video or two on the boat, on the ship, and can get the internet to grab it and pop it up onto YouTube, which probably won't happen while I'm at sea on the internet that the ship provides, because from memory on my last cruise it was pretty slow and all I was trying to do was read some emails. I used to have to sit in the library and wait for them to chug down. But I'm thinking maybe when I go ashore I might be able to do something, but I don't know. Or I just forget about it and enjoy the trip, maybe film some things and then cut the videos together when I get home. That might be what I end up doing. But then I feel like a goose walking around with a bloomin' iPad filming. So I tend not to. I just blend into the crowd. Mind you, everyone's walking around these days filming, aren't they? Okay, so there's the little house done. Okay, I'm thinking the holes, how are we going for time? Plenty time. I'm thinking I'm going to pick up this, again, this dark pink. And I'm thinking the holes in the house will be pink. So I'm just going to pick it up and go again with it. I'm going to go from this base. Actually, you know what it needs? It needs another little line, like a line of guttering on that little house. It's a little bit too simple. So let's just run a little stitch around this edge. Even if it's running stitch. No, it's going to be... Oh, it's crooked. Seriously. Get that stitch. I'm going to draw a line. Where's my pen? I'm a little bit crooked today. I don't know what's going on. Let's just sketch a line in because I'm going to just do this little guy here. Just feel like it'll add that little bit extra design to it. Okay, let's try that again. That's better. Okay, that's good. That's good. So once I get around this edge, I'm thinking of going up to the peak. The other thing I've got to work out, what colour do I do the birds? I sort of think I'll do the birds in a chocolate brown. I have a feeling there'll be enough colour here with all of these pieces, the flowers and the birdhouse, the bird stand. So I'm thinking I'll make them little chocolate birds so that they stand out a little. Okay. Now I'm just going to turn around. I might do the outer one first because I'm thinking I'll go straight down that side. Then I'm going to, actually I'm not because I'm going to run out of thread. But if I had a lot of thread, I would go down this outer edge. Go down here. And then scoot down and do the openings. But I'm going to run out of thread. So what I'm going to do is come back up to that point with a new piece of cotton. For those girls that are in Australia, I got yesterday on email a 40% off of one item that's full price at Spotlight. So if you are members, check your email because there's a pretty good voucher sitting in there. And I desperately need some calico because I've used it all making my scrappy rabbit. So for the Aussie girls, check out your email because you would have been sent, or your letterboxes, a voucher. All right, glasses back on. Let's find this cotton, this one. Now, that's boring viewing. I just looked at the clock and we've only got 45 minutes left. So let's just skip that one. We know what we're doing with that colour. Let's have a look. We know the base of which the little house sits on. Do we bring in another colour? Or do we... I'm going to bring in another colour. Let's just lay it down and see what we think. Yeah, it'll be subtle. But yeah, that's the colour. So when I get to the usual hour, I'm going to stop the video. But what I'm going to do is, seeing I have this mess here, I'm actually going to hit record again and keep going. And I'm pretty sure if I do one more video, one more hour, I'll have this completed. So, and then the video will appear sometime next week. Instead of sitting at the couch tonight and doing it, I'm just going to keep going with you guys, I think. Now, let's just turn this around. I feel like I need to embroider this way. Get rid of the glasses so one can see those flowers. I have to have a think about the flowers. I might have to grab out our Foolproof. Can't go too crazy because it would lose the essence of a doily embroidery, which is what I'm going for here. So maybe I need to look over the piece and find something that could come from within this. Probably is a better idea. Because otherwise I'm, you know, bringing in probably a little bit too abstract. This is a very simplistic. Peter Rabbit eating carrots is very much not the piece, but he's a lovely feature for the piece, so I can feel like I can justify that. But anyway, I've got to finish this first. Where did that hour go? This stitching business, oh, geez, doesn't it take time? Just takes time. Okay, up around this side, very cute. That's pretty much nearly the colour of those daisies. Not quite, but it's pretty close. Now I'm going to stop beside that little bird, because if I keep going there, he's going to have a blue line right through his tummy. I could probably put a little stitch in there. Yep. Oh, don't do that. Seriously? was just thinking I was going to go and do this stitch next and that colour next, and bam, my threads get all stitched up. Just want a tiny little stitch in there. Okay, that's that little guy. All right. Another thing I need to do is have a look at, those of you who don't know, New Zealand's where I'm going for a cruise. I need to work out exactly the cities I'm going to and then sit there on Google and see what shops, stitchery, embroidery, fabric shops are within those cities and within visiting distance, because I'd love to do that. Because I've been to New Zealand once before on a cruise. I've done the whole walk through the cities. I've done the whole, any tours that catch my eye. So I'm pretty much freewheeling, as they would say. So I said to my husband, would he mind if I just visit, you know, fabric stores, stitchery stores? And he's like, yeah, go for it. He said that in itself will be an adventure. We'll get out and about and see the city. Plus, you never know what you stumble across. So I need to get onto my computer and just Google each of the cities. There was a video where I sort of mentioned this. And I had a heap of people, you know, mention stores that they frequent in that city. I think it was Wellington. 2 of which I had already found. They're very close to each other, but there was actually a third one just around the corner, so that was a bit of a bonus. 3 stores in the one city. I may not be as lucky as that as I go to some of these more smaller coastal type little towns, but you never know. And we're just doing the North Island. Okay, so the roof is done. Now I'm going down. What's time is it? Put the glasses on. Got 8 minutes roughly. Let's get these little bird holes done. And then I will stop the video and I'm going to just hit record again. Keep working on our piece, and then you'll get the second video whenever. Maybe I just do it the next day for you, so then it's done. So this one is Saturday, and maybe I make the second one Sunday, and then the piece is finished. It's out of our way, and we can move on to one of the others. That might be the way to go. Oh, goodness. One more stitch there. And then I can drop down to this one. I have to have a think about what colour we do the flowers. Maybe we do purples, lilacs. Can't do the pinks and the blues. We've already dipped into that colour scheme. So that really leaves yellows, oranges as a colour combo. And purples. That is the most crooked bloomin' circle. Oh well, it's staying. So we could look at, like I was saying, the yellows and reds for the flowers, which would be quite pretty. It'd give it a bit of a pop. I'm going to pick up this thread now and just come across here. Okay. Concentrating. Trying to get this reasonably straight. The question is, do I do another line of stitch back through the centre there? Or do I leave the little gap? I'll have a little look at it in a second. Let's just finish this end off. I'm going to leave the gap. I think if I do a solid line through there, it might look a little odd. I did a lot of work on the French garden the other night. Well, it was actually all day. I was at home all day and I sort of had lots of little things going on all day, but every time I got a moment just to sit for a bit, I just did some stitching. Just a little bit more. And I was surprised at the end of the day just how much I'd actually achieved. So, wanting to show you what I did there, but you might have to wait, I think. I think that'll be Monday. Let's get this piece done. I'm going to definitely post Saturday, Sunday for this. Then it's finished. I'm just going to put my blue thread in. We're coming up with 3 minutes spare. Can I get to the bottom of that post in 3 minutes? And then I can stop the video and we can work on the birds and the flowers. Get rid of the glasses. I don't want to rush either because I'll make it crooked. It's a rickety post. If only I could get, this is what I'd love. I would love 3 days without any interruptions, like lock myself in my stitching room, my craft room, and just film videos for 3 days solid. I would be an absolute cripple when I walked out because my back would be tense, my shoulders would be all tight because this filming in this position is not the best. But then I could just get so many videos done and you guys would have plenty to view. But it's just not feasible. Imagine my fingers, how sore they'd be. Oh. It would probably ruin me. I'd be sick of it, over it. There we go. We're coming down. We made it. I haven't looked at the whole piece yet. Maybe it's as crooked as a dog's hind leg. No, it's all right. There's a bit of a lump on one side of that post, but I'm okay with it. If you want perfect stitching, you probably need to go back 1 generation. No, let's go back 2 generations when things were done proper. We're all about enjoying the process now, not getting to the point where we get so caught up in the technique of it that the piece just goes into the cupboard and we don't pull it out. Let me just turn my mat around. It's got pretty hectic here, it would seem. All right, there we go. There's our little birdhouse. So we just need to stitch them in and work out what I'm doing with this vine. So I'm going to say goodbye because look at that, 59 minutes and 48 seconds, 49 seconds. All right, beautiful. Let's see you in the next video, which will be tomorrow. Bye for now.